We know about the three hostages, Emily Damari, a British-Israeli citizen, and Romi Gonen, an Israeli, were both taken hostage by Hamas terrorists who invaded Israel on October 7th, 2023. They were both participants. They both were taking part in a music festival that took place here in southern Israel, not far from the border. The third person taken, Doron Steinbrecher, also a young woman, she was taken from her bed in a kibbutz also not far from here. She had not yet woken up that day. These are three civilians. It was unknown until just very recently whether the three Israelis released today would be conscripted soldiers or civilians, and now we have that answer.
And what do we know at this stage then about the Palestinian prisoners that are going to be released in exchange for the Israeli hostages?
So we know that 30 Palestinian prisoners are going to be released in exchange for each one of these young women. We don't know the names of the 90 to be released today, but the Israeli authorities have released a general list. Some of the most prominent of these prisoners include Khalida Jarrar. She's 62 years old. She's a member of the left-wing Popular Front for the Liberation of Palestine, not at all a Hamas member. And she's been held basically without any formal charges by Israel for much of the last decade. Then we have the names of four others convicted terrorists. Zakaria Zubeidi, who is very famous in Israel for having been part of a kind of spectacular escape from Israeli prison in 2021, and Wissam Abbasi, Mohammed Odeh, and Wael Qasim. All four of these were convicted of crimes in the second Intifada, so about 20 years ago, and they're set to be unconditionally released as of this evening.
Now, just to recap, remind us of the main terms of the ceasefire agreement, or at least the first phase of the deal.
Right. It's important to note it's a three-phase deal. In this early first phase, which is set to last 42 days or 6 weeks, what we expect to see is, in fact, a ceasefire, a stoppage of military hostilities on all sides. We also expect to see regularly, but not daily. So about once a week, Hamas is committed to releasing Israeli hostages. Most are civilians, some are conscripted soldiers who are mostly in their late teens. Israel is expecting to receive their names one day before their release. That was the hitch earlier today. And then Israel will release in exchange 30 Palestinian prisoners or detainees for every civilian and 50 for every military hostage who is released.